welcome? How can you have a mindset to welcome them with a smile and deal them with courage and move forward? So,
Ooh,
so that's
I
one
like
of
this.
yeah, it's one of the most important elements of next level growth. But many people, when they're looking at obstacles and barriers, they see it as a negative. But in fact, it's the biggest positive that you can actually get.
What are some examples of barriers as you see them?
So there are two different things. Obstacles are different and barriers are different. Okay, so those are two different terms and they have two different meanings. So barriers can be physical barriers, which are real, and psychological barriers that are in our minds. I'll give you an example. Physical barriers, you may have a condition, you're in a wheelchair, you have immobility. That's a physical barrier. But even with the physical barrier, as we have seen many stories and seen many movies, that there's so many people who have overcome their physical barriers with a lot of courage, and going through in life and moving forward. So physical barriers should not stop you from moving forward. The second thing is psychological barrier. Psychological barrier could be, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. So that's in your mind. You may feel that you're not ready because that's you have that psychological barrier in your mind. But the reality is, if you go out and step in and maybe find people who can get you ready, your readiness can jump through the roof. So that's a psychological barrier. An obstacle are hurdles, things that come in the way that you have to find a way to overcome them. And obstacles are a way for God to teach us, things in life and business. They're God's way of teaching us that, okay, this is something that has happened in life. This is something you have to face. And once we face our fears, they don't control us. But until we don't face our fears, until we don't face these obstacles, until we don't face these barriers tend to control us than us controlling them. So go ahead.
No, that's powerful. Keep going, keep going. And for the record, anybody that gets involved in the conversation today will win a copy of Bamal's book. So let's get this conversation fired up. I want to see questions. I want to see engagement. That's what this is all about at the Laws of Life. This is an interactive talk show. So feel free to ask questions. So keep going, Bamal. Keep going. Get us fired up.
Yeah, so that's the fears. Think about obstacles and barriers, and you may have obstacles and you may fear them. But then, if there are two mindsets that we have: leadership mindset and victim mindset. You can have that victim mindset that, okay, I'm a product of this, and this happened to me. This shouldn't have happened, and then you can deal with that. But that won't help you get anywhere. But you take a leadership mindset where you deal with courage and confidence, and make all the decisions in life with that leadership mindset. Those are the two opposite ends. Even when you are not feeling good, you could feel that you're a victim. You need to take medication. You need to do this. You need to do that. Or you could fight it with internal resources, go for a walk, exercise, do things. And that's why you need to be physically and mentally healthy when you start your day. That's the most important part, that everybody needs to understand, that before you start your day, you want to be physically and mentally healthy, to take charge of your day, because every day comes with a lot of challenges. Every day comes with obstacles. Every day comes with barriers. And once you are ready to start your day, you can make it happen. You can make the day happen to you instead of you happening to the day. So that's very important. Make yourself happen to the day. The only way you can do it is absolutely being physically and mentally healthy. I can tell you a story of a company to give you an example how psychological barriers. So this was a company that they print badges and accessories, and one of the things they said, well, we'll never get into the printing of it because it's too costly. We will need a lot of space. And, one of the simplest questions I asked them, what's the easiest thing to print? And they said, well, alphabets and numbers. And turns out that there's a big demand for badges with just alphabets and numbers. And they built a $3 million business, additional line of revenues within 6 months by buying a $50,000 machine in a 6 by 6 square foot space that they could easily fit in. And they added a bunch of multi-million revenues just by doing that. So the barriers are in our mind. The barriers are in our mindset that we have to overcome.
That's very true. And was it you gave them the vision to purchase that equipment that helped them grow their
So
business
basically,
exponentially?
it started with me asking a very simple question: what's the easiest thing to print? And they said it's alphabets and numbers. And so they, well, what do we need to print the alphabets and numbers on the badges? They said, we need this machine. How much space do we need? Oh, we need only 6 by 6. And what do we have that space? Yeah, we have this in the back. Can we move stuff around? Where do we need to order this? And they started just, an array of questions, and it made it happen. So that's a possibility. So there's obstacles and barriers. Obstacles are raw materials. Consider yourself running a factory. And if you're running a factory, you need first raw materials. Or if you're a woman, think about you cooking in the kitchen, if you cook. So the very first thing you need is raw materials. If you need, you need ingredients when you're cooking something.
True.
So those so the ingredients. The ingredients for anything comes from the obstacles. So, if you're trying to solve a problem, okay, you're trying to solve a major problem, you want to introduce a new product, you want to introduce a new service, you want to introduce a new thing in the marketplace, the very first thing you should look at, what are the obstacles that are preventing the consumers from purchasing this, or preventing the customers to adapt this. To give you a simple example, when it comes to technology, when it comes to phones, one of the success story of Apple was making technology easy for the world to access, which is why Apple is what it is. So one of the things they saw as an obstacle is that for the rest of the people, it is very complicated to use the phone with a lot of resources, buttons, tools, things about the flip phones that we had in the old days, where you could hardly type. So Apple said, the biggest obstacle it is that it's complicated for people to use a phone. So we have to make the phone easily accessible and usable and make it friendly. There's nothing out there, and it's just finger touch. Okay, everything happens with your finger. And so that's how they came up with that. And that's removing all the other obstacles. And then that's how it became one of the most successful products, phone products. So think about obstacles and barriers as ingredients, as raw materials, as things that you need to build a product, to build a service, to build something wonderful that you want to see accomplished in life and in business. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it definitely does. I never thought of an obstacle as a raw material. So that is a different mindset for me. But that's not surprising, because you're always sort of teaching us to look at life in a different way. And it's inspiring. I love what you said about taking the ingredients of the business. What do you think is the best way to get organized as a business owner?
So it's a very deep question and very broad question as well, because there's a lot of elements that require a business owner to get organized. But I would say that the very first thing an entrepreneur has to think about, that even if I'm a solopreneur, even if I'm by myself, I sit in 12 different seats, or I wear 12 different hats. Okay, regardless of whether I'm by myself or I have a team. So the first hat is marketing. Okay, so you need to score yourself on the marketing and say, okay, where am I today? Where would I like to be? And how do I get there? The second is operations. Okay, how is my operations going to work from beginning to end? How is it gonna flow? Okay. The third is how am I gonna sell this product or service? Sales. Okay. The fourth is if I'm doing everything by myself, and when I expand, what am I doing to, uh, you know, train myself and other folks? So there's that. Then there is technology. Then there is innovation. Then that's hiring. Then there is finance. Then there is leadership. And then, these are all the important functions of a business and customer service. So once you understand that, okay, as a business, I need to organize myself these seats in these hats. Where am I? And I have to score myself in relation to my goals, which is why if they scan the QR code, they'll get the business scorecard to organize their business.
I like that. I like that a lot. And how many different tools do you offer in your collection of tools?
I think right now I have a toolbox, a tool belt, and a tool shed. So toolbox is things that you need when you need it. Like, think about a handyman. He goes to his toolbox to pull the tools when he needs it, right? If you look at a handyman, he has a belt. And on his belt are tools that are essentially everyday tools. So similarly in your life, you have everyday in your business, you have everyday tools. Then your toolbox is things that you use it when you need it. And tool shed is things that you work long term, like you need to do a major project and you need some of the bigger tools, like so you'd have to utilize those tools. So those are the many different. There are more than like 200 tools that I've set up.
That's incredible. That's incredible. And what is your number one law to, so if I hear you correctly, you're in a way saying embrace the obstacles, embrace the barriers, and incorporate them as an ingredient. So I'm going to tell you one of my main obstacles. One of my main obstacles is organization and budgeting the time in the day to be the most productive. What's your suggestion on
so
that?
Organization has to divide into several different things. So organization of time, organization of people, organization of tasks, organization of documents or flows. So you have to pick one thing. When you say organization, you have to say, what do I want to organize? Do I want to organize my time? Do I want to organize my customer service? Do I want to organize my flow? So you define. The more specific you do. So now let's go into time. Let's take that, because when you organize your time, a lot of things get organized. It's like the domino effect. So the best way to organize your time is, if you scan the QR code, one of the tools is the daily time quadrants, which divides the time into 4 different quadrants. And those quadrants are, the first one is your charge, the second one is proactive, the third one is half time, the fourth one is reactive, and the fifth one is disconnect. So once you divide your day into these 5 zones, you work your way through from one zone to the next in specific time intervals. But all of these things are divided. Okay, how am I winning my day? How am I accomplishing it? And focus on winning the day. What are the 3 biggest wins I need to accomplish to put money in the bank? And what are the 3 biggest wins I need to accomplish to take the business long term? You probably heard,
I love it. I love it. Find the wins of the day. Set goals for wins of the day. So at the end of every day, you feel positive and motivated. Am I right?
Right. So the target 6 wins. That's what I'm saying. 6 wins. The 3 wins are short term, which will help you get money in the bank, cash flow, things like that. And these are things that are absolutely essential to keep the ball rolling. And 3 wins that would help you jump long term, will make a leap. So what are some of the things that I can do that will help me take a leap and do something that's long term that I'm not currently doing?
I like that. Well, I want everybody to visit Bimal's link tree. He has many, many tools. Connect with Bimal, have a consultation with him. He's transformed my business. And just watching this show is taking us to the next level every day. Let's keep these conversations engaged. Let's keep going. Bimal, thank you for everything you do to teach our community. And we'll see you
Thank you.
here every Monday at 10:30.
It's
And
great to have this on Mondays because it's also good for me. It gets the Monday started on a good note.
I'm so happy to hear you say that. And I truly look forward to this every week. And we're going to keep spreading the word about this show because this show matters. This show is motivating entrepreneurs, nonprofits, business people of all kinds, individuals. You can't lose when you watch the laws of business breakthroughs. You can only win. So thank you, Bamal, and have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
day.
Thank you. Bye bye.